Bring your ass.
Kristaps Porzingis, very gay.
We had to make sure he got his joy back because somehow he lost his joy.
Blaze me, yes!
And now the intro is over, and we're going to move to where the three heads start talking. Welcome, everyone, back to the Smoker Fighter Show. I am your host, Jack Alexander. Alongside me, as always, is Owen Klein, and the other white man in this recording session is going to go by the name of Alex Bean Walters. We are dealing with some expansion. Hypothetically.
And if you're confused, guys, this is the ear rape episode.
This is the ASMR special.
This is the ASMR special.
We're going to talk like this for the entirety of the episode, from step 1 all the way down to step 2. For all the entirety of the 30 minutes that we are here tonight, you will be getting soothing sounds strictly from our mouths.
Yo!
That was awesome.
Beautiful.
That was great.
That was beautiful.
I enjoyed every moment of that, actually.
Why are you so good at that?
ASMR style?
No, that was phenomenal.
That was disturbingly good.
Not only did it sound good, but like you didn't even stutter.
Let's
Like
say
not
you
even
great
once.
character once.
All right, well, cool. I need to start making NBA ASMR content.
You could do like a guided meditation.
This is what happened in the NBA tonight. Just start tapping the mic and shit.
Luka Doncic.
As you can see, Bill Simmons is here, and he is talking about how he is an anti-expansion man. I didn't even know what to call him on that.
Anti-expansionist.
Okay, guys, this segment has gone on too long.
Yeah.
It's gone on too long, guys.
No more ASMR. We're done with ASMR.
You need to lock in, Owen.
It's Owen's fault. Owen, thanks a lot.
All right. Bill Simmons had an idea. We're going to watch this here in a second. Actually, matter of fact, let's just let him talk, and then we're going to react to whatever he says about the expansion.
Roll that clip.
Roll that clip.
I've had people say to me like, hey, Simmons, you're the one saying how deep the league is. Why wouldn't you want expansion? Here's why I don't want expansion. Because we have 9 teams that don't give a shit right now in a 30-team league. The last thing we need to do is add 2 more teams that don't give a shit. They either need to fix the don't give a shit part about the 82-game season, or they need to relocate 2 teams and do that as an expansion. I cannot accept, as somebody who loves basketball, I cannot accept adding 2 expansion teams and having 11 tanking teams 3 seasons from now instead of 9. I just don't see how that's a good product. I don't see how that helps anybody. If they do this, it's a money grab.
So essentially what he's saying is there's already a lot of teams tanking, and if you add in 2 extra teams to the league, they're going to start off with nothing, and they're going to start their process by tanking already.
The Vegas Golden Knights are not even a decade old, and they were contending for cups within the first 3 to 5 years. Now I get it. Hockey's salary, too. Yeah, hockey's salary cap is different. The rules are different. Hockey players don't tank like NBA players do. We can talk about all of that later. But that's the examples. If you bring in a Vegas franchise, there's precedent that they could be successful immediately. And and in regards to those 2 teams being bad, I don't necessarily think that is, because you can assemble a good expansion team. Like I said, Vegas did it, and they were contenders within 3 years. Yeah. You can do it. It can totally be done.
The Aces have the best player in the WNBA as we speak.
Yeah,
and they're a great team.
I get why he's saying that, because you're worried about, like, these expansion teams are going to take all of the young talent from some of these, like, upper teams that don't necessarily use the young talent. Like, for example, if I'm Vegas or Seattle, I'm picking Rob Dillingham. I'm taking some of those Bulls young guards that aren't getting any run now. Yeah. I'm using that as the cornerstone of my franchise. And if it doesn't work, then you're like, woe is me. We're an expansion franchise, and you can just start over and keep moving. So I get what he's saying, but from the standpoint of having 2 more bad teams, there's literally historical precedent with one of those 2 teams they're trying to add in a different sport that suggests that has no merit. And the other one is Seattle, which already has the fan base in place, and the only reason they left is because the city and the owner couldn't come to terms on a land grant so they could build a new arena and expand. Like all of these other teams are. Like Oklahoma City's doing that. Like they have Oklahoma City has a mega arena that's going to be ready in 27-28.
Well, no, what he's saying is he doesn't want to deal with more teams tanking.
And what's to say those new teams tank? Because they're going to get It's going to be an expansion draft. They're going to get to take the non-protected players, which might be some high-end talent on some of these teams
Well, we
It
just
is
did an
huge.
expansion draft. Me and Alex just did an expansion draft, and I can tell you right now from the players that were available, from if we're going with the rules that we had with the expansion draft that we did do, I can tell you straight up, we both, and I even went in thinking, okay, I'm gonna actually get some good players. I'm gonna go out and get Drew Holiday.
Yeah,
I'm
that
gonna get
changed
Tom
real
Morant.
quick.
Changed real quick because you can only grab one player from each team. Both of us essentially grabbed a team filled with young players and a little bit of vets that can help those young players out. You're starting off your franchise in a tank mode so you can get some high-end talent through the draft, because that's the best way to get a great roster. You look at all the teams that are in the league right now. You can't, like, the last time we had a league where it isn't based off of just like growing homegrown people was when KD went to the Warriors. Like, we don't see that now. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they're a great team because of the players that they drafted. Granted, they made that trade for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but like, again, that was his second season. Like, he was still a really young piece. It wasn't like they went out and traded for a 30-year-old SGA. They traded for a 20-year-old SGA. That's one example. That's A. B, the San Antonio Spurs, everyone there, they're all homegrown guys. Dylan Harper, obviously the one trade with Fox, but Wemby, Castle, Harper, that's the core. That's the main, like, young core. All of these teams, even the Houston Rockets, the majority of their great players outside of the trade with Kevin Durant is homegrown guys. Basically what I'm saying is the best thing you can do to make a great roster is to build through the draft. And if you're first starting out, like, if you're starting off your franchise right now, I'm going to go and try to get as many draft picks as possible. And in doing so, I'm going to suck because I don't have anyone to trade away to get, like, to acquire, like, draft picks.
It really won't be tanking. If you think about it, 9 times out of 10, an expansion team is picking up scraps. They're not going to be good, not because they're tanking, because the people that the damn Timberwolves or the Bulls are dropping are like Rob Dillingham. What am I going to do if Rob Dillingham is the guy I have spear fronting the team? Not because
That's my point.
Not because I couldn't get, not because I didn't want to go get Cade or because I'm sitting out Cade. No, it's because Rob Dillingham was like.
Then let's switch up the argument here. Instead of 10 teams, let's say 10 teams, for example, 10 teams in the league are already objectively not trying to win.
I got pushback on that.
Okay, eight teams. Like, that's still a large amount of teams.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. 8 to
Can we
we'll say
agree
8
on
to
that?
10.
Okay, let's say 8, 7 or 8. Like, that's still a lot of teams that we're talking about.
What are the? I do think it matters on like what are these teams?
Okay. We can get to that point in a second here.
Because I.
But let's say 7. We'll start with 7.
Okay.
And we can get to that point right after this. Even though they're not objectively tanking, like trying to lose, you're adding in 2 extra shitty teams. And now we have 9 teams or 10 teams, so little less than a third of the league is objectively losing games, whether it's on purpose or not. They're like not really caring about winning.
When he said if you add 2 teams and we have a bunch of bad teams in the next 3 years, by the time those expansion teams would be really bad and tanking in 3 years, the crop of teams that are already in that pool, 3 or 4 of them are likely going to be most of the way down the rebuild, if not trending towards moving up, right? Like, those 9 teams, or 8 or 7 teams, whatever the number is, aren't going to be bad the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, in the 3-year window where these 2 new franchises might be bad, the groups of teams, like the Grizzlies aren't going to be bad forever. The Pelicans aren't going to be bad forever. Are they going to go from 30 wins to 50 wins?
The Pelicans will be bad forever.
Yes, but you get my point, Jack. Like, there's a natural progression, right? So it's like, are the Pelicans going to go from 30 wins to 50 wins in 3 years? No, but there's going to be a natural leap where they win 30 games, you win 35, you have your young core solidify, you get to 500, and you start to be competitive at that point, right?
If everything goes well, sure. I mean, that's objectively the goal.
As far as the way you design those rosters, if those vets develop those rookies and they're valuable enough, by the time those vets retire, those pieces that you have already are going to be valuable to trade if you want to retool or rebuild anyway. So you can effectively just keep recycling until you find a roster that works.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Bean, you got any pushback on that? Because it's kind of like, we talked about the Jazz off camera. Like, the Jazz aren't one of those teams because they traded for Triple J and they're objectively making moves.
Did Bill Simmons say 10 teams?
10, yeah.
Okay. 10 teams.
10 teams that we were saying are tanking, that are purposefully trying to lose. Not that these teams, Because my pushback is that people are mistaking so many teams that are just god awful with teams that are actively tanking.
Okay, then
it's
really
Nets
just
suck.
There is a
It's
difference.
just-
Yes, there is a
Okay,
difference.
then
Look at the Nets
it's
and
just
say,
an
yeah, they're
argument.
tanking. They're purposefully pulling games. The Nets are garbage.
Even if the point is there's 10 teams that are just losing every single night, whether it's on purpose or not, that's still the point still stands in the sense of adding 2 more teams on top of that it can get kind of worrisome.
Well, no, but here's my main pushback is in terms of like, for one, I think the whole tanking thing is a little overblown at this point. Nobody cared about it when the Pistons did it for 5 years, and now
Well,
look
Pistons-
at where they're
hold
at.
on.
Nobody
The
cared about the
Pistons
Pistons when they were
were
a sub
legitimately
20 win
bad.
team for
Yeah,
5
the
seasons
Pistons
in a
were
row.
legitimately bad.
Pistons were legitimately bad for.
Oh,
a
so,
period
okay.
of
So
time.
what's the what? But we weren't sitting here and arguing because I'm gonna be real. What happened is betting companies got mad because teams were pulling players when they were putting up fucking splits for certain
Rejection.
games, and then Lowry marketing's not played. Everybody bet the under, and then they
Yep,
made a
there's
bunch
a
of
whole
money.
scandal for
Then
that.
the NBA was like, "Oh no, our betting sponsors are really mad at us because now people are making money off the fact that teams are tanking." And
We literally had this with Jonte Porter and Terry Rozier, who both are going to be potentially kicked out of the league for fixing their own
It
statistics.
is kicked out of the league, yeah.
Yeah, Porter's gone, and who knows what happens with Terry in the next year.
Well, no, that's a little different. Me betting on my under, but when it's instead of I'm going to set the whatever the line was for Lowry, and then the Jazz pulling them, and then
Can I push back on the idea, like, of hating on this change because of the betting companies?
no, I don't think I genuinely don't think it is the fans getting mad about it because of the betting companies. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think this has been something that the NBA has never really brought into the zeitgeist. They've never really vocalized anything in terms of tanking. The closest thing you could say is the 65 game rule. But that really just had to do with the fact that
It's more about awards.
LeBron
Yeah,
James would sit
players
out
weren't playing
again.
enough.
No, it had more to do with like the fact that LeBron James, if when they were playing the Hornets like 4 years ago, was not going to play, even if he was completely healthy. It was to stop that. I think what happened is that this has become more vocalized by the NBA as a problem. With it being more vocalized by the NBA, it has now pushed it to have ESPN cover it, to have CBS cover it, to have NBC cover it, which has then led to a lot of the casuals hearing Stephen A. Smith or Bill Simmons or whoever is getting paid through their talk of the NBA cover it more because it's the big talking point, even though it's never been a problem up until this one season where now the betting companies are like full in on sponsorships. They're now, if you could say it's wrong or not, if you
the
want to say it's just
sponsorship-
a coincidence, I can agree with that it's just a coincidence, but it is a insane coincidence that they started losing money to tanking teams, and now all of a sudden the NBA's mad about it.
Yeah, can I push back on the idea of that being an issue?
What do you
No, Jack, because
No.
there is-
Well, I'm genuinely curious what your pushback is.
yeah, go ahead, and then I got.
No,
the counter
what
for
I'm
you.
saying is I don't see the issue of changing something like this is a business. Like this is just what this is. They're not going
That's
to
the point,
they're not
Jack.
just doing this because they love basketball. They're doing this because they make a lot of money off of it.
That's their point. Is what Bean is saying is this: the NBA has a tanking issue. Not only does it affect the on-court product, that on-court product is how they make their bottom line and how they fund everything. So when that gets messed with, only then are you going to get the attention of all the rich people who fund this league, fund these teams, and run this league.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me.
And
Yeah, no, again, I'm saying the NBA didn't care about it until betting companies started to get mad because it was losing them money. And
I mean,
it has
let's talk
nothing to
about-
do with the like basketball side of it, I guess.
yeah,
Is what I'm trying to
let's
say.
talk about historical
Makes sense
precedent.
to me. I don't think there's anything like negative about that. It makes sense. It makes
No,
sense why they haven't done it until now. The sponsorships, like
Culture, all that stuff.
having Giannis be a partner with Calci is bad.
Whether you want to call it as a business or not, at the end of the day, it's a sport to actively kind of change rules and to enforce certain rules because one of your sponsors is upset.
I think it's more about it's that, but it's also just we want the product to be as clear as possible. Like there's a lot of people who are betting, and it's not just like the companies itself, but like the people who are betting. That's the regular ass people as well, and those people are
Yeah, they were
going
the
in
ones making
thinking
money. That's the issue. They were the ones making the money because the bet companies. It's a whole thing where It
Yeah,
had
it's
specifically
cheating.
to do with Lowry Markkinen. People were betting the under on Lowry Markkinen because for some reason DraftKings and all them were setting the bar too high, and then the Jazz would pull them out like in the first quarter.
Yeah, and a little insight from a degenerate himself is Vegas hates it. Vegas hates it when you win. When they see those unders, they're going to pull those projections.
And that's what
They're
this
gonna
all comes
shut you
down to.
They're going to shut down your account, and then that's when you get people's attention. For example, with the Terry Rozier stuff, it got flagged because there's a suspicious amount of money placed on it. They shut down that gambler's account, and then he had to go underground to gambling rings. And as far as I'm going to bring up another angle, in regards to expansion teams and like protected players and things, and betting, it all kind of ties together. Isn't it a little suspicious to you that Giannis partnered with Kalshi after fucking with the odds?
I think
on
that
his
should
next
not
team?
be allowed.
Hold on.
No, that should not be
Stay
allowed.
with me.
100%.
Stay with me. If you're Milwaukee and you don't end up trading him because you're sitting on your hands trying to get an absolute haul for him, do you leave him unprotected for an expansion franchise to start over with him, or do you protect him and try to drive his trade value up?
You do not leave him unprotected for an expansion.
You're
No.
telling me if you're Milwaukee and you truly don't value Giannis, you'd leave him to die and go? You leave him to die after
What?
everything he's put you through? You wouldn't consider that?
No,
You would owe him
because why
shit.
would I let Giannis go for free? Giannis, I don't care if I'm getting back damn Rob Dillingham and Kobe White. I would rather take Rob Dillingham and Kobe White than just let some team take him for free.
He's holding Milwaukee hostage, brother.
No, he's not.
He's been doing it for
They're
4
doing it
years.
together.
He's been doing it since they won the ring. He tweets. He scrubbed his social media.
Owen, he doesn't have a no trade clause. They can trade him if they want to. Whether he decides, hey, whether he likes the team that they're offering or not, he's not holding them hostage. They legitimately came out and said, hey, if he doesn't sign an extension with us, we're trading his ass.
And they had 4 beautiful offers sitting in front of them,
And
took
they said
0 of them.
no. They said no. Not Giannis. They said no. If they
You
want
think
to.
Giannis doesn't have a say in that? He had a choice between the
Absolutely does not.
Midwest and South Beach. Are we
Who
serious?
gives a shit? If they don't want him, take him. Leave him. Let him go.
He doesn't have a no trade clause.
You could say, yeah, it's not like
You
he said
can
no
send
to
him- you
trade.
can
Even if he
banish him
doesn't
to
say no,
Washington.
what does that mean?
You can objectively banish him to Washington.
That'd be really funny, actually.
would
You
be
could. There's variables in that, in the sense of like, okay, because this is the era of the player empowerment, where it's like, okay, if Giannis says, I'm literally not gonna touch your jersey if you trade for me, they're probably not gonna end up trading for him. So
Yeah,
like, there is that, and on top of that, he brought you a championship. You're gonna do good by him. At least have him give you a few teams. And then you choose from that specific, like, maybe 5 different teams and just grab the best offer from that 5 different teams.
You know what I
That's
would do?
most likely what's going to happen.
You know what I would do if I were the expansion franchise? After I assembled my team from the expansion draft, I would load up my draft picks and load up some of my assets and try to make an offer for him. Bring him to Vegas or bring him to Seattle. Why the fuck
You
not?
can try. You might as well shoot your shot.
Those are 2 warm areas. He's been trapped in the Midwest for the last 8 years.
Are you
10
saying
years.
Are you saying Seattle should try to get the super? You're saying the Supersonics?
Or
Oh,
Vegas.
that's just
whatever.
I just love saying that. Are you saying that the Sonics should trade for Giannis?
I'm so happy we're gonna get to see the Supersonics back.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Let me say that again. Real quick. Are you saying that the Sonics are going to try to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo? Oh, that sounds good, man.
It makes too much sense. They're a basketball market. They love the Mariners. They love the Kraken ever since they got there.
Oh,
it makes
don't
complete-
forget about
it
the
makes-
Seahawks. They just won a Super Bowl.
That too. They won it with Sam Darnold. God damn
Seattle
it.
is
Why
one
not?
of the most deserving.
Yeah, did they say that one more time? Say that one more time.
They won it with Sam Darnold.
They won with who?
Sam Darnold.
They won with Sam Darnold.
What team
I
did he used
know.
to play for, Owen?
I don't remember. actually.
I can't remember.
Oh, no, the
I'm
hoodie.
just getting into the NFL, so like I can't remember off the life of me.
We're not going to get the Sonics until 2029, probably, right?
Roughly, yeah.
What did they say the timeline
He's
was?
already
on the
he's
extension?
already like 30.
It depends on when they get the bids in and on what
How old
they're
is he
gonna
right
pay.
now? 32.
30,
How old is Giannis?
32.
Alexa, how old is Giannis Antetokounmpo?
47.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is 31 years old.
31.
Yeah.
When's his
Robot
birthday?
lady said she's 31.
So in 3 years, he's going to be going on 35 by the time that season starts.
You're getting like a 2-year rental. at
No,
most.
that's like trading for Kevin Garnett if you're the Brooklyn Nets. You don't do that. We learned from
That's
that.
one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest staying power memes of all time.
No,
That-
that's like trading for AD now.
That and the Celtic
Yeah, same
Shack
thing.
one where he's holding the ball. Oh, what do you call the new Vegas franchise? We need names because you can't use the Aces. That's
the
already
famous
taken.
2K one is the Vegas Venom.
I don't like that at all. I don't like that. It's awful.
It's got to be gambling related because the
absolutely
women
will.
have the Vegas Aces.
I could tell you what it is.
The Vegas Jacks. There you go.
I could tell you what it is right now.
What is it?
What?
You have the aces. You already have the kings. You're not going to call them the queens.
The Jacks.
You call them the jacks.
I just said
know.
the Vegas Jacks.
Absolutely. I know you did.
I don't mind it. That feels.
or
that feels-
like you go with like a suit, like the Vegas Spades.
Vegas. Ooh.
Hearts.
I feel like a suit. Yeah. Vegas
Vegas
Spades.
clubs.
Gloves. No.
That one's gonna get. That one's gonna get.
That's gonna get that Magic Night. That's gonna get that Magic City Night treatment at Atlanta. Yeah.
I think you call it. I like the spades idea.
I don't mind
Um,
Spades either.
The jacks, or you could even just like spread it out a little bit because you have the Timber Wolves, you have the Trail Blazers, you have the Super Sonics. You call it the Black Jacks.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
and then they
Jack's
just
was his
go-
name to be in a team somewhere.
Look, they're
Oh, bro, you know I'd be a Vegas fan. You know I would switch teams.
You
for
know what
that,
they would
right?
do? You know what they would do if they did blackjacks, right? They would just rip off the Aces like dark uniforms and then put different logos on them.
Oh yeah, I think they should go, kind of like what Pittsburgh does, with every single franchise in Pittsburgh has like a black yellow type of feel.
Yes.
That's what Vegas should be. It should be like a black, red, yellow, gold.
And here's
Basically go off the chips.
here's another issue that doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is more like
It's awesome.
technical
It's a
side,
great
like
vibe.
building arena kind of thing. Is it's like, do you expand the Aces current like? Do you just have them play at T-Mobile Arena, or are you going to give them their own building?
They're gonna get their own building.
That's it, because
100%.
T-Mobile Arena is where Vegas plays. It's where the Aces. It's where everybody in Vegas calls home.
They're gonna get their own arena because you like the.
Not at Reddit, I don't
UNLV
think they'll get it right away. It just depends on the owner.
I'm willing to bet you they play at T-Mobile for the first year or two of existence, and then
Yeah.
they'll build the
Most
arena
likely.
and it's ready year 3, year 4. Because that's what the Vegas A's are doing.
They
They're
share their stadium with their WNBA affiliate.
Yeah, that's what the Lynx do, and the
I
Wolves.
mean, that was a genuine
Yeah.
question. I had no clue how many.
yeah. I mean, you could do it super easily because T-Mobile Arena has more than enough capacity to fill out an NBA arena. But if you want to go full Steve Ballmer, you can build the super fan wall and shit in your giant bean-shaped monstrosity that the Clippers currently play in.
I think it's just dependent on the city because Washington. I don't even know if they have a WNBA team, but they share it with the
It's the
Capitals.
Mystics. It's the Mystics.
Mystics. They probably play there too. Mystics, Wizards, and the Capitals probably.
The
I
Go
know
Capitals.
Capitals play in the same building as the Wizards. I'm assuming the Mystics are in the same building.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, well, it's inherently cheaper for the city to do that. All you gotta do is change the branding and change your court.
And
Or
yeah,
swap
you just
to an
gotta
arena.
figure out scheduling.
Yeah, it's
God, that's gotta suck.
yeah. Being a scheduler or being a front office person when you have to share a building with 2 other franchises, one of which plays an entirely different sport than you.
Yeah, so you have to bring together like 100 different people to figure out. Okay,
All right,
we're gonna
guys,
have,
okay, what's your
and
schedule?
on top of
looking
that,
like this
concerts
year?
too.
Yeah,
I guess my thing is I feel like this 1 year is more of an anomaly than anything else. Like,
Yeah, the next 2 years, the people in the draft, they're not going to care as much about.
like,
the
you
talent
know,
pool's only gonna get deeper too.
it kind of comes down to like we if this was happening, like I think the Wizards have been bad for a few years now. I think they're just bad, and
Yeah,
they're trying
bad
to build
since,
through
like,
the draft. and
the Wizards have
inherently-
served
John
their
Wall.
time as ass.
Yeah, since post Bradley Beal, they've just been kind of building through the draft, but then they go out and they've now made win now moves. So next year, in theory, they should not be here. If they are here next year, well, AD's
Those types of moves, best case scenario, bring them to the play-in.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is a massive improvement post John Wall, post Bradley
Yeah, but like
Beal.
that's like the worst spot that you want to be at.
But for the Wizards,
yeah, but you
again,
gotta make
who've
some
been bad
progress.
for
You
the
can't
last
really jump from 15 to
You want to
1.
make progress with your core. Anthony Davis and Trae Young are not their core.
It would be kind of
Not
what
towards Alex Sarr.
it-
They don't really
it-
have a
it's-
core.
it's kind of what Beans Hornets are doing. They were out of the play-in since its inception, and now through building that young core, they're going to probably be a play-in team.
It's
Pending
also
these last
Well,
2
their
weeks.
core is Trey Johnson, Keyshawn George, and Alexar. That's their core right there.
when it comes to like the Wizards though, like you have to kind of get these small victories. This is what they need.
it's been a while since they've made the playoffs, and
I'm just coming from an objective standpoint. Like, you're getting a worse draft pick. You're not your core isn't the thing that's getting better. It's just bringing in 2 vets that.
But then
won't
that
do
comes back to
anything.
your point. Then it's like it's not your point specifically, but like you can't for most people. If you want to,
I get the idea of building up the confidence, but go
you
ahead.
can't be like, well, we don't want them to tank, and then they try to make win now moves, and you're like, well, what's the point of that? That's not going to help them win. It's like you can't have it either way. You can't be both ways. You either want each team to start caring, you want each franchise to actually give a shit.
I think 2 things can be true at once. Like, if you zoom out in a vacuum, it's like, okay, you want all the teams to be competitive. Like, just as a analytical standpoint, you zoom out and you want games in late March to be competitive with all 30 teams. But then you zoom in and you're like, well, okay, well, objectively, that doesn't really do much for your team in the long run. It doesn't. It's actually probably putting yourself back a little bit in a sense, because you're not getting the better draft picks and also your better team. But it doesn't mean your core is better. But again, the idea of giving your guys confidence because you are winning games, that does mean something. So there's a talking point there.
It almost goes back to what I said earlier. It's like the pool of teams that are bad now, by the time we get these new guys, that might still be a pool of 7 or 8 teams, but that's going to include the expansion franchises, so you can subtract 2 from that. So we're talking about 4 or 5 legitimately bad teams that are still bad in that window. Like I said,
4 or 5 is perfectly fine.
That's what I'm saying. By the time these franchises come, the Wizards aren't going to be bad. The Grizzlies will be 50%, 75% of where they want to be. The Jazz might make a 6 seed in that next 3 years if Triple J and those moves come together.
It's hard to believe that
in that next
just
3 year window, Jack. In that next.
I'm just saying it's in the West, so it's hard to.
It is difficult, but that's
like,
my point.
I like the core. I like the core.
I think if you're the NBA, at the end of the day, all you're looking for is if you're going to add these new expansion franchises, you're hoping that the pool of bad teams now make moves to become good, so your pool of bad teams starts shrinking, and you're 1 through 15 instead of being like this, all the way up here, it starts coming close together where 1 through 15 is separated by 12 games, 10 games, 8 games, 9 games. You're just hoping the gap between best and worst starts shrinking over years. That's at the end of the day, that's all the NBA is. Like, having new franchises is sexy and it's great and it's fun. We love it. We're all going to buy jerseys. We're all going to consume it. But again, you're just hoping your 15th seeded team in the East only is 10 games back of the 1 seed, and it's like where the West is now, where the 1 through 6 are separated by like 4 games. You're just hoping that gap shrinks over time.
Yeah,
is basically the essence of what you're looking for, even with these expansion franchises.
And on top of that, this will be like the last point for this video.
I had one more point, but
okay, or one of the last points is like
these are final thoughts.
Another idea in the field of balancing is between conferences as well. Objectively, you're adding 2 teams to the Western Conference who are bad, and you're for now, and you're bringing, because obviously with the expansion draft, your best player is going to be J-Off, and then on top of that, you're hopefully adding 1 great team in the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Eastern Conference. So now you're kind of, I don't know, dude. We might be getting somewhere because we're balancing some things out here with what your point was earlier, and then now the conferences are starting to get a little bit more balanced. The Hornets are getting a lot better. I feel like now, granted, the Magic are on like a 6-game losing streak right now after winning like 7 straight. So I don't know about that.
Dog days of the
really well.
Dog days of the season. That doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, so like. But the Hawks are doing great. The Boston Celtics are a contender. The Pacers will be back. The Pistons will be back next season. Probably not this season, but next season. The Knicks are still great. Like if you add the Timberwolves to that conference, that's a fun conference.
That's
next
free
season.
eats. That's free eats. I
That's not free eats.
I don't care who's in the eats. That's free eats, but we can get to that later.
You move from being a 5 seed, which you are right now.
Actually, if they were to be moved into the Eastern Conference now, they'd still be the 5 seed.
Well, okay, but that's kind of a difficult transition there because
I'm just
playing more West
record wise.
Yeah,
top end of the East is the same as the top end in the West.
With that logic, I'm saying that it's probably going to be like a 4 seed.
Yeah, something like that.
3 at best.
Actually,
I don't think you're better than the Knicks.
I think we're beating them in 6 games.
I don't think you would.
Who's
don't
got
think
home
you would.
court? It does not matter. Are we saying
I
hypothetically?
would probably say I'm saying Knicks, but I'm saying 7 games, maybe 6 at the least.
Okay,
it's
that's
not like
fair.
it's not going to be like some major thing here, because it's Anthony Edwards in April or in May.
Correct.
He'll be good. He'll be good. Like, it's going to be a competitive series.
Do you imagine we move to the East when we match up with the Hawks? Those games are going to sell out because he'll
from
be
Atlanta.
down there. He'll be hella distracted because all his boys will be like, "Yo, just
No, imagine this. Imagine this. 3 seed Wolves versus 6 seed Hawks first round. Second round, 3 seed Wolves, 2 seed Knicks.
that's what we call absolute cinema, brother."
Yeah,
That'd be
because
fun.
actually-
That'd be a great series to watch.
Is what we call
the
that.
ant versus the cat. All right,
That's-
Bean, what was your last point?
Oh, that's a banger. But yeah, we got to get the Bean's
Sure.
final point. Wrap this one up.
No, the expansion will be good. Will it affect tanking? I don't think so. Tanking has been a necessary thing for decades now, and
Since at least Hakeem.
yeah, Hakeem and Jordan, they that's just kind of the cycle. I mean, if you look at the teams at the top now, Thunder tanked, the Spurs tanked.
Also, teams are just
Pistons
getting
tank?
smarter.
Huh?
Teams are getting smarter. Like, you realize that the 3-point shot is actually a lot more valuable than we thought 20 years ago. And also, I'm starting to realize that maybe losing games gives us a better chance to be better later.
If you
People
want
are just getting smarter.
If
People are
everybody
wrong.
wants to run things like a business, then you can't get technically mad for the teams crunching the numbers and running it like a business, seeing that the most beneficial way in the long run is going to be for them to lose games.
Now, does that affect the product on court in late March?
Yeah, but
Yes.
who's watching? Nobody wants to. Nobody's caring at this point.
I do.
Were you
is-
watching Pistons
yeah.
games late March last year? Or not last year? Pistons last year. Pistons like 2 years ago? No, because you already knew they were out of the playoffs. That's kind of that's the thing though. Like every
There was
year,
one
every
team
year
that I
the good
wanted
teams
to
are going to be
watch.
playing the bad teams.
That's also skewed.
No, the problem
Being
is every single game in late March right now are blowouts. Like 90% of them are blowouts.
Yeah, because the
That's an issue.
teams that need to collect wins are playing the teams that don't want to collect wins and are just kind of sitting guys, just kind of ride out the rest of the year. Because
Wizards are beating the Jazz by 30 right now.
the tough part about that is, it's the month of March, and we all know what goes on in the month of March. So those numbers are going to be skewed inherently because people are going to watch the tournament. It's just what it is. Not that people aren't going to watch the NBA. It's just it's just the viewership is going to peak and valley a little bit on the days where there's no college basketball.
Well,
and we're not
especially with the product that we have right now in the court right now, people are definitely going to be watching college hoops.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You
always
can't-
it. Realistically, I think Owen's right. Like realistically, the numbers kind of shift always towards college basketball
Sure.
during this time of year.
I'm just saying it's even worse because of the product on the court.
Yes, and the product on the court nukes those numbers further.
Yeah.
I guess it depends. I mean, it's kind of been the same thing all year. It just depends on who you're watching. Like obviously,
And
teams have sucked
it's-
like this since.
Another part to it
Just gets
before we
worse.
wrap up is it's
Tip
like
off.
another part to it is like if you're fans of a playoff team, you're tapped in. But again, like Jack said, if you're a fan of, like Bean said, if you're a fan of the Pistons 3 years ago, you're watching the games just because it's something to do. But if you're an actual NBA fan watching the Pistons, you're not tapping into that because they were out of the playoffs in January.
I'm
right?
saying
Like,
if the Jazz, even outside of the Jaren Jackson trade, like
He's not playing.
late March,
I don't know.
if it like Ace Bailey right now is playing out of his freaking mind. I love me some Jazz ball right now. But especially if you had Keontae George and you had Lauri Markkanen playing as well, that if they were a 10 seed, 11 seed, I would still be so tapped into that because I love me some Ace Bailey, I love me some Lauri Markkanen, I love me some Keontae George. So yeah, I would be tapped in.
I
Yeah,
guess,
the
I guess
product
it comes
was
more down to like, again, like what was it? The year that the Pistons were completely god awful. Like Cade Cunningham was still hooping his ass off.
Yeah.
They just happened to suck, but nobody was watching because the Pistons sucked overall.
I
remember-
also
not to say
objectively
that y'all were
watch a lot more
watching, but-
basketball this year and last year. In
I
comparison.
remember that being like there was a time like when the clip came out of him going, "We're not 2-26 bad," like that was that time. That was that time when they're around Christmas time and all hope was already lost, and it got so bad that businesses in their city were literally running promos on when they would get their next win during that historic losing streak they had during that year. Right? So it's like, It's like
I think it's more to my more thought on it is like obviously I think it's worse this year. I'm not stating that this year it's not one of the worst seasons in terms of tanking, but I think some of the certain arguments get kind of blown out of proportion because we live in a world where like we kind of turn off what happened last year in terms of the season, where when March came around we were not to this extent. I don't know the numbers, but I wasn't watching Wizards basketball post like January. I wasn't watching certain teams because at this point, like every year, there's a point in the season where you're like, okay, this team is not making the playoffs. This team's games are pointless. They're not playing for anything other than to get a better pick in the draft.
What, you weren't tapped into Kings Pelicans for the right to the number 1 or number 2 overall draft pick on a Tuesday night? Who are you?
I wasn't watching the Pelicans
are
for any
you,
draft
bro?
pick because they don't have one.